On the Sofa with Esther Tuesdays, Words of Wisdom, a space for deep, meaningful conversations about life, well-being, balance, and healing. Join us as we connect, reflect, and grow together. On the Sofa with Esther.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across the globe. Welcome to On the Sofa with Esther Tuesdays, Words of Wisdom. Today, I am deeply honored to be joined by the luminous Jennifer Anne Lynch. That's a big word for me, luminous. A soul-led author, intuitive guide, and transformational coach. Jennifer's life work is rooted in empowering others to awaken, to heal, and to return to their true essence. In this sacred space, we'll be diving into the heart of her latest book, Free from the Rut, Reclaiming Your Power. A powerful guide and story to breaking free from limiting cycles and stepping boldly into your soul's truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Jennifer Anne Lynch.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. So great to be here, Esther. I really
Yes.
appreciate being on your show and communicating with your guests about my new book and yourself. That's amazing. Thank you.
Brilliant. And thank you for taking the time, because I know you are a very, very busy woman as you really start to build out your I'll say your spiritual empire. But before we go any further, Jennifer, I like to ask my guests in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, or a coconut shell, who is Jennifer Anne Lynch?
Well, I think Jennifer Anne Lynch is a creative. I think I was born a creative. And definitely when I was at school, I was creative. So interesting, I bumped into an old school friend yesterday who hadn't seen me for like, I don't know, 50 years or 40 odd years. And she said to me, "You were very shy at school." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I was thinking." It's like, I was I was contemplating, I was looking out the window at nature, wondering about visualizing my life and things that I wanted to bring in. I wasn't sort of like just twiddling my thumbs, feeling like my life was full of nothing. But yeah, I was shy at school, and people can't believe what I'm doing now, considering what I was like as a child. It's quite interesting.
It's interesting because as you speak, it's a reminder, you remind me of myself as well. My school reports used to say Esther has a tendency to be lazy. I wasn't lazy, I was bored and I was daydreaming. I used to daydream a lot. So I completely understand that. But Jennifer, this is about you. This is your moment. So just tell us about the book that you currently got out, because you do other things, and we will sort of dive into the healing services that you offer. But tell us a little bit about your latest book. I don't know if you all can see, but this is the book. See? Okay. So yes, just, where did the idea come from the book? And just give us in a nutshell what the book is about, Jennifer.
So the book is based around one family, okay, and they've got various issues and things going on between them. And I suppose you could describe it as where science meets spirituality, in the fact that the people are very diverse in the attitudes, but they have become more diverse. So its book is basically about challenging conformity, alternative ways of thinking. It takes you through the process. It's about long and short-term development, and also letting go of past perceptions as well. So the characters on they try, and some of them really try to cling on as if, their ideas come in even stronger when challenged. And then, as you find later on during the book, they actually start naturally adapting a little ideas from each other without even being forced to do it. So it's quite interesting. It's like having somebody the other end of the spectrum. You're trying to make them come your way. They're rigidly holding on to everything. And then what happens eventually is both people start to think, well, actually, I quite missed you saying that, or, I accepted you saying that, even though it wasn't good for me at the time. I mean, obviously, some people break up, some people get together again after a lot of thought. There is a shock in the middle of the book. I'm not going to go into that, but completely changes one person's life, and he then gets on his true path as a result of this happening. And he's never been on his true path because he's always wanted to felt the conformity of his father wanting him to be a doctor. You say that on the back, his dad really wanted him to be a doctor. And he was a recruitment consultant, didn't get a very good degree. And his father is basically never, always on about it. He never lets it go. Every Sunday roast, he's on about it, even when they have children, children of their own. Um, and also there is, that the father, the doctor, he's very shut down. But further on in the book, even he starts to look at himself slightly differently. So without giving too much of that away, it's interesting dynamics, and dynamics that probably very familiar to us with people pleasing, not feeling good enough, sort of over caring, overstretching, overreaching, compromising too much. You name it, we've all done it. And the characters, the patterns in the book. So, as the pattern of a certain character comes in, I've written that in italics so you can see the keywords like, people pleasing, or, feeling of a victim. Somebody in the book accuses somebody else of being in the victim. I'm fed up with you being a victim, blah, 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 blah. Why don't you do something about it? Why don't you just voice it? Why don't you just tell them how it is? And, that sort of thing. But that is written in, like, the victim bit is written in italics and that sort of thing. So you can link it all together and you can sort of think, well, am I like that? Is this what I need to do, sort of thing? So it is a healing journey as well. It takes you through the process, as I described. Yeah.
Brilliant. And obviously you said, we've all been there in some capacity within our lives, and and we all deal with things differently, when we maybe make the recognition that, oh my gosh, that's me. Because I was sharing with someone that I did a show last year with someone who had been in a narcissistic relationship, and I was married many, many moons ago, being divorced, many, many moons as well. But it was only when I was talking to her in that interview last year, I saw myself in that experience. And I thought, wow, that's what I experienced. That's what I went through. And it's been a long time for me to recognize that that was what I was in. So I completely get when you talk about your book, there's so many different ways in the book, I believe, that you've presented different scenarios that we may feel in alignment with at that time, that we've been there. And so, Jennifer, what would you therefore say as a healer? And we know it's not easy, we've all, each person has their own journey to healing or to transformation, but what do you feel as a healer is the first thing that oftentimes people need to understand, or the first place they need to get to, where they realize, oh, there is something that I need to do?
I think, when people are basically stuck in that dark place and can't find their way out, and they try and do it themselves. I mean, there's a hypnotherapist in the book that three of the characters go to, and he helps them a lot. I think sometimes once you're going round and round the hamster wheel, you actually realize that you do need some help. I've had hypnotherapy, I've had counseling, I've had no end of different things, in child therapy, crystal healing. I've had the lot, and probably will have a lot more as well. And it is like, taking the layer of the onion skin off. And it's like, if you're holding on to your onion skin at all cost, and you're like, no way you're peeling this off me. I don't want to see what's underneath. I don't want to see my light. I don't see my true potential. Then that's a very difficult place to be. So I would say to a lot of people, get help, go to a therapist, get some counseling, have hypnotherapy, whatever you feel that resonates with you, or talk to a friend that can point you in the right direction. Sometimes you cannot go alone. You need someone to anchor you in there. I do think that is very important. But obviously, I have been in most of these patterns, otherwise, I wouldn't be able to write about them in the first place.
There we go. But that's great because we all speak, oftentimes our work or when we are in service has come from that place of our own journey, of how we managed our own pain and our own stuckness. And so you clearly are very open to that because there is no judgment, there is no vulnerability about that. And the more that we step out of the ego, I mean, we're always in the ego to some level, but it depends on what level of ego we're in. But the more that we step away from that, is the easier it becomes to say, you know what, I'm going to go and get this done. I'm going to get done because ultimately, and I'm just speaking for myself, I don't know if it's the same for you, but ultimately we want to move in a place of freedom. We want to see the rainbow, don't we, Jennifer, and experience that rainbow, and life gets lighter. What would you say about that?
I think life can get a lot lighter as well. If we want to reach our own pot of gold, we've got to be able to open up our chakras. And sometimes because I'm a Reiki healer as well, I look at the chakras, and when I talk to somebody, and whether I'm giving them a reading or coaching, certain chakras always seem to be are stuck more than others. And it's not fair to say always, but it's nearly also the throat and the heart. It's like the heart's blocked. They can't give anymore. They've been giving and giving and giving. And then, they can't express how they feel emotionally to people. And, it's easy to blame people and get angry, but, it's a difficult thing when you're in that situation. You can't speak truth as well. Quite often we can't say what we want to say, which is difficult,
And
especially in
why?
a narcissistic relationship. I mean, that is hard, Esther. That is hard. I mean, I've been in loads of them, so I sort of get that.
Absolutely, because it's always deflected back at you, and you're trying to take onus for what you need to take onus for, but then you realize everything, 100% plus is always been, and in the midst of it, you're trying to hold on to your own self-identity. You're trying to hold on to your own sanity as well. And then it becomes merged, and then it becomes dissected, and then you can feel it literally draining away. And this empty shell of you not even recognizing who you are anymore. And then it's easy then to, keep getting taken down because your soul has left you. And so that's really great. And so, Jennifer, just share with us what types of modalities or what practices do you offer to the public?
Yes, so I offer coaching, the Silver Lining Coaching course, which you will find about on my website, which is angelwisdom.co.uk. It's now going off to another website. If you put that in, it will take you there. I also give Reiki healing, and I also give readings as well. And I do readings via WhatsApp and FaceTime, as well as, if people want to come and see me in Norfolk where I live, yeah, that's good as well. So, and I've been doing it for a very long time. So obviously I've met a lot of people, and I can see quite often what's going on with them,
Good. I've had many
different
sessions
levels.
with Jennifer. I've had many sessions, especially when I need some place safe to go to get some answers. It's not that I don't have the answers, but sometimes I'm just tired and I'm managing a lot. And, having someone that you trust in a space where I can just say, what do you see is for me really important. So I can acclaim to Jennifer's services. And Jenny, if we talk about being stuck, and sometimes when we are stuck in a place, it is hard to move out of. It is hard to even think, okay, where do I go? Where do I step to? And some of that is the ego, some of that is fear, some of that also is, when we're in a cycle for a long time and we're in that pattern, we don't even realize we're in that pattern. And so we have awareness of what it looks like or how it feels like to step out of that. So what piece of advice would you give to someone who is in that place? Or maybe they might not recognize they're in that place, but when you tell them when you share what you're going to share now, they might think, "Oh, that's where I am."
Mm. Well, one of the characters early on in the book who goes to see the employment advisor, and she's panicking a bit, and she just remembers her yoga breathing. So, to breathe in for four, hold for four, breathe out for four. When she's in that situation, and it's quite, I do write about this in my books. I put like they remember their breathing, because I think that that is a good place to start. Um, and I think if you can get in a calm space and slow everything down, then that really does help as well. I mean, I do a lot of breathing in my car because I get very uptight on roads, and quite often I'm like, come on. I've been known to arm in my car as well, but I'm not going to recommend that to everybody in case that makes you sleepy. But I will arm when I'm in my car because I have actually found that that sort of equals things out for me, obviously with my eyes completely open on the road. Um, so yeah, just keep going into your breathing. Also, I constantly recommend a YouTube, which is a 7 minute chakra tune-up on YouTube. There are a couple, but there's one that I use, can't remember his name, sorry. But it says that basically 7 minute chakra tune-up. And I mean, that's just like twice as long as you brush your teeth for, maybe, but you could fit that in your daily routine. And that is a sound chakra one, that goes through each of the chakras by sound. So you can chant with it, you can listen to it. It just basically balances you up in 7 minutes, which is really, really quick. Um, and I'm always sending that out to my family in particular, and other people that I know as well. I constantly recommend it when I'm working to people as well. Yeah. What I was going to say, Esther, was one of the things that's noticed in the book is, as people sort of are going a little bit two different directions, and quite often, if it's they're suddenly becoming interested in the spiritual ways of thinking and they want to read up about past lives, and this is in the book, a hypnotherapy or whatever. And then the husband, I call it the husband or the wife. I do hate that expression, but that's what quite often they call each other, the husband, the wife. So we'll call it wife or husband. Um, they ridicule each other, and then they can do that in front of their friends as well, as if they think they were completely crazy, rather than actually listen to anything they've got to say and just think, well, maybe I'll have a listen to this, or maybe I'll give it a go. Or even if I don't believe in it, I will not ridicule it. I will not say my wife in her crazy coven if she's running a meditation group or something like that. And I think that most people, if they have diverse opinions and someone is like quite stuck in 3D, or like, no, I don't believe in any of this at all, would be, it's like they can find some sort of balance in it as long as the respect hasn't gone. But when the respect goes out of the relationship and you're ridiculing each other, and it's vice versa as well. Like, I don't understand why you believe that all that old tosh that was 20 years ago. You could say that as well. So, it's like you can respect each other's views and still love and honor each other. But it's like finding that balance. And that is primarily what the book is about, finding balance. So it is a journey and it is walking you through the process. But at the same time, it's saying, you don't have to walk away if you don't want to. If you really feel like you're at your wit's end and it's not going to work, then walk away. But at the other side, it's like, putting over all the points of view, not saying this is wrong or right or, anything like that, which is quite interesting.
And that takes work. That takes work. Well, Jennifer, it's been great talking to you, because I can see there's going to be lots of other sessions of these conversations on the Sofa with Esther Tuesdays Words of Wisdom with Jennifer Anne Lynch, because we're in a time, and it's funny, I've said this even 10 years ago, we're in a time when, but it's, for me, whatever the times are, it's about having the tools, and that's what Jennifer has been showing us today, having the tools to help us manage and navigate through life and some of the more difficult moments. And so just wanted to just say thank you, Jennifer, for your time. And also, where can people find you, find out about you, your book, your socials?
The socials. Yeah, they can find me on Facebook, Jennifer Anne Lynch. My website, angelwisdom.co.uk. And also the book is on Amazon. It's also on Google Play as a ebook. And it's also this Kindle version of this available on Amazon. But there is soon, I'm in the process of doing this, going to be a audio version on Google Play, not on Audible, on Google Play, that will be out in the next couple of days, because I was surprised the number of people that said yesterday, I'm dyslexic, or some reason why they find it a struggle with reading, and they prefer to use audiobooks, but there we are. Some people say I love to hold a book in my hands, which is another good thing. And if you keep it by your bed, you are more inclined to sort of just dip into it, aren't you, if it's next to you? So yeah, lots of modes, which is fantastic.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, I just want to say thank you again for your time. Thank you for your wisdom, and sincerely wishing you all the best and hoping to see you on the show another time, very time soon. Very time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Esther. That's brilliant. Thank you. I'm going to stay.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to click the bell icon for notifications on future videos. Thank you for watching.